There is a tragedy going on in the Atlantic Ocean right now, Dean. An absolute
Aquaman
tragedy.
2?
Travesty.
Oh, yeah.
Tragedy. No, not Aquaman 2. Apparently, rich people go and visit the Titanic wreckage. And I guess one of the submersibles, the submarines, have been lost at sea, right? And it's been dominating the news cycle. That's, you know, fuck everything else in the world, right? These 5 idiots are stuck at the bottom of the sea, and they got 30 hours of oxygen left. And it's funny because I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh my God, that's my biggest nightmare.
Yeah.
How? When are you ever going to be in that situation? And I'm wondering, because it's been a lot of people that have said this, what is your big, like, weird thing that's, like, really oddly specific fear that you have?
Oh, we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, because Ben
spelunking.
Spelunking.
Getting caught
What the fuck is
underground.
Spelunking.
In a cave? Spelunking?
Yeah, spelunking.
In a cave.
That shit, dude. My fat ass. If I can't open a door, I'm not going in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
ain't no way.
Wow. What about
Much
you,
less
Ben?
fitting inside a fucking submergible. Are you kidding me?
A submergible. That's a Rickyism. A goddamn submergible.
That's what they're called.
Submersible. You fool.
Oh, sorry.
Submergible.
Submergible's
Well, 'cause the
only
word
when
is
you're spelunking.
Yeah, submergible.
Wow.
When
A submergible. Submerging to the bottom of the ocean. bro.
submersible. Is it really submersed? Weird.
Submarine.
Oh my
What about
God.
you, Ben?
Okay, you guys are gonna call bullshit, but I think it's honestly true. I don't have very many fears at all, if really any. Nothing has ever really scared me,
Death by
other
snoozing?
than like death in general. Like I because I don't know what happens after death, that freaks me out a little bit. But like not enough to lose sleep at night. If anything, I have like those reoccurring dreams, as I said, of my friends falling off balconies, and I have to like scrape them off the pavement and shit. It's really dark, but
you
it's
told me
really
about
dark, but that's not even like a fear specifically. It's just like a weird nightmare. So, and like I have friends that were afraid of spiders in the dark and all of the things, but nothing's ever got me like that. So that's
Wow.
where I'm at.
I'm pretty sure Ben's biggest phobia is the store only having regular sized condoms. Anyways, so I think my biggest one is I think my biggest one is dinosaurs. If I was trapped in Jurassic Park, it would be absolutely horrifying. Now, is that a realistic phobia? I don't know. Someday it could actually be, right? Scientists are always going too far, so we never learn our lessons. And dude, if a T-Rex was face to face with you, it just sends a chill down my spine. I can't get on the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World ride. I'm too terrified.
Oh,
Shout out to
I thought
Great
of one.
Clips.
I thought of one. I have a bit of an irrational fear of throwing up. I've always have. I
Really?
purposely will drink less to make sure I don't. I get nervous about food poisoning, and
There
it's
was
part of the reason I didn't love the movie of the week. Just saying.
Wow. There's a point in my life where I think I got over that, and I can just do it now, and it's awful, but I don't know. I had a really bad interaction with the medication I was taking. It would make me do that a lot, and I went on for like a year before I was like, maybe I should look into this. Found out that was why, and solved all my damn problems.
Honestly, a great throw up it feels great, Ben. Don't be afraid of it. Lean into it, honestly.
good
Just
shit.
a
So it
few
grossed me right
around,
out.
you know?
The dinosaur thing though is pretty scary too.
Bro,
I
we
didn't
went
think
to
in those
this-
terms.
We went to this museum on Sunday, the Whitty. They have a dinosaur exhibit going on. Actually, 2 dinosaur exhibits. And holy fuck! Like I knew the Quetzalcoatlus was like a big ass like dinosaur, but they have one at like where it's walking height. That thing is like 20 feet tall. It's fucking huge.
Terrifying.
It's horrifying.
I live near a place called Drumheller, which has some of the most dinosaur burnt bones like found in the whole world, and they have a dinosaur outside of a cafe that's 2 stories tall. It's literally like it's
Like a brachiosaur?
No, I think it's a T-Rex, but I'll see if I can find the picture. I've been there before.
I'm never coming to
there-
visit.
So
Coming
my
face to face with a bear? That freaks me the fuck out.
That's more of a
or like
rational
a
fear,
like
though.
a cougar though.
That's pretty rational. Yeah, big cats
I've seen
too.
well, they're fucking fast though. Like
Yeah.
a bear's fast, but a cat is very agile too.
Again, my fat ass coming across anything that's gonna threaten my life, That's why I carry.
That's why I carry, baby.
I ain't
Speaking
running,
of
dude.
which,
I've
speaking
just
of
not.
which, one of my irrational fears. I feel like I have been taken by aliens before. Dean says I just lost my way in traffic, but no, I think I did. Being abducted by aliens, super rational fear. I had to Google, are aliens immune to 9mm? I don't think they are. And then also, oh man, that video from Egypt, like getting attacked by a shark, bro. I don't go swimming in the ocean. Like, I know that most shark attacks happen like in less than 3 feet of water. So at 2'11", that's the limit, bro.
I mean, it's a good thing you live in
absolute
Texas.
Texas has like one of the largest coastlines.
You told me it wasn't coastal. You said that was crap.
Yeah, but
San Antonio.
it is crap, but you have to realize how big Texas. And I know you live in Canada.
Yeah.
But Texas has such a diverse. Like, we have plains, we have mountains, we have forests, we have coasts. I live in the hill/plains part, but like you could drive 2 hours and be at the beach.
Yeah.
Or you can drive 2
You could
hours
still
and be
technically
in,
get
like,
eaten
North
by a
Texas.
shark in your
I think
There's
if you count all the little
state.
ins and outs of the Texas coastline, we have more coastline than like Florida.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Erwin says all this dinosaur talk makes me miss that dino game. They actually just updated it a few days ago, so I might have to play that at some point. Anyways, let's now that we all know each other's fears, where's my damn button at? Let's get into it.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
You got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Shall we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of lore gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben. Bendito took the week off this week.
Wow, welcome to
Nice.
Dean. Looked so sassy at the mic when he said I'm Dean.
He did.
I'm Dean.
I did.
It made my pee-pee just a little wet. Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right, everybody. And thank you for watching. You right there. I'm looking right at you.
Wow,
Wherever you're
Phoenix
catching
Wright.
us, whether it's live, on the replay, Facebook, YouTube's, Twitch, wherever the hell you're at, we love you. Thank you.
That is true. That is true. We have some angels in the chat. We got Toy Mafia, Abe Dunk TV, Sam Gifts Niculio, Ninja Squirrel 30, Charles, aka Chuck, aka Just Another Friday Night, Equan, dang, Marco got put in the basement again, 12-inch Moose Stream, Tina St. Cruz, Ninja Squirrel. I tried reading this comment like 45 times, and I have no fucking clue what you're trying to say. We also have Niculio, Alvin, Jay, Absolute Irwin, Ben's biggest fear is movie theories might be right, SpongeBob SquareBalls. I actually we're doing a live unboxing in the middle of the show. I got a package from Thomas. I have no idea what's in it, but it's
Classy
a birthday
Thomas.
gift. Classy Thomas, Sam Gist, Toy Cartel, Thor Gaming. Let's see here. Mark Pearson, the big donk. Go sub to his channel. Good evening, gents. Hope everyone is having a great start to their week. Ninja Squirrel 30. Look at that. We found a new dinosaur in the UK last week. I think that's the king. Just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know Biden is nothing to... Biden's fucked too, so I'm sorry. Lane Kramer. Oh, God. That was good.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I know Biden is fucked too. I'll take it. Baby Girl 707. Yomo, King Dingaling, and Gotham Cenobites. We got Batfish in the chat too. Dean, we have a very special segment that we start off all the best shows with.
All the best, guys. And you know what it
Yes.
is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I did buy 3 figures this week. They should be in the mail, I guess, next week. So nothing yet, but it's coming. What about you guys?
No.
Wow, we have a double nut
great
here from
enthusiasm.
Abe
Wow.
Dunk TV. Look at that. CW over Taco Tuesday. This
We
is
allowed to say Taco Tuesday.
It's trademarked
Yeah.
by Taco Bell. I heard it from LeBron James himself, so
That's
it must be true. Marco, speaking of Taco Tuesday, what do we got?
Yes. So first of all, I just want to shout out Dean for bringing the energy today. I don't know what has gotten into him, but he is just bringing it right now.
Extra iced tea.
Yeah.
Rolling with the homies.
The sweet tea. Don't get it twisted.
Sweet tea.
I love it.
I'm drinking
So-
iced tea today, baby.
Heck yeah. So I got this Carnage in. It's massive, right? It is just such a large piece, but incredibly beautiful.
Ben sized.
It is Ben size. That's right.
Magnum size.
That's right. It's normal to him in his massive hands. It looks.
I'm never gonna
to
share any pictures with you guys ever again.
Bro, you were on.
Send more pictures of that massive thing, Ben.
You were on the show last week making that beer can. I mean, the beer bottle look this big. Anyways, yeah. So beautiful piece. Honestly, I love that they did jointed. I was really, concerned because the Carnage was obviously not as many joints, but this one you can hide it perfectly. He comes with so many accessories. Incredibly excited to have it. So yeah, really beautiful piece.
Fantastic, and that's a good segue for the Collecting Weekly 3,000 subscriber giveaway sponsored by Collector Zone. Bonus code today is Magnum. Go to the link here. Magnum. MAGNUM Magnum, baby. And you can get a bonus entry. We'll plug that again at the end of the show. So congrats, Marco. And yeah, we have a lot of entries there. I thought we'd get a little bit more by this point, but it is what it is. Better chances for everyone else to win. Ben, what did you get this week?
Yeah, so I actually got a delivery from Zach's Wonderland this week, and it was this box. And at first I was like, "Ooh, maybe it's the Ocarina of Time," but Zach is still
coming
sanding
soon.
that.
It's coming soon.
Which I was good. I was happy about because I heard a bunch of clicking in the box, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's been absolutely destroyed in there." But I've been looking for figure stands to go up on top of my Billy display case, because there's a bit of a lip where the door covers the display cabinet, and I've got usually 7-inch scale figures, either the Batman animated series figures or my Ninja Turtles up there. So I told Zach I needed like 12 of them at one point, but then I had to sell the house and didn't have the money to buy them anytime soon. And so magically in the mail, I got 12 of these bad boys. You must have used like a pound of plastic though, dude. Like this is like the most plastic I've ever seen in one box.
It was almost a kilogram of plastic.
Not as much latex as he's seen in a box.
Whoa! That's what I'm talking about. I don't those cost more. They should cost twice as much, just the ones that I buy.
And then I got this really cute little strip of Velcro, as well as the Bo-Katan upgrade. Oh, yeah. What would you call this? Pauldron?
No longer exclusive to Zach's Wonderland, but we'll get there.
And one last thing, I got this little Zach's Wonderland little square, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I realized you could get one of those ink pads and fucking stamp Zach's Wonderland on everything. It would be awesome.
Wow,
so
there you go.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Thank you for sending it. It was cool.
Yeah,
I
full
really
disclosure, I didn't put the Velcro. It was a last minute addition. I forgot to put your thing in there, so I had to print one off real quick and paint it. And I was like, I don't want the Velcro to it's adhesive on the back. I didn't want it to eat into the paint or vice versa. So I was like, by the time it gets there, it should be set. So you should be good to go. Cool. But yeah, I think that's the last of the pauldrons that I was making. I have Dean still, and then I had to make one more. Someone had. I admit I fucked up, so I had to remake theirs. It wasn't up to my quality standards. So that run is closed. So if you want any of those, you got to go through Hot Toys from this point on. But I had a pretty good week, so I technically got the figure on the left last week rather, but I ended up picking up 2 of the retro symbiotes this week, one used and one new, and then I picked up a Marvel Legends Eternal figure. I don't know who it was. He just had like big tentacles. And I'd seen some people on Instagram use them to make the Spider-Man 2 symbiote. And so I picked up that. It was like only like $15 on Amazon. So did that. Also got the modern symbiote from Spider-Man 800 Marvel Legends figure. And then I was on eBay. And I was like, I wonder if anyone's made custom Daft Punk minifigs. And this guy in France had some, and they were super expensive. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are just from AliExpress. Went to AliExpress, got the full set for $5. The guy wanted like $25. And so I have the robots from Daft Punk, and I picked up a set for Dean because I know he's a big fan of DP and
excuse me,
Daft Punk.
Wow,
that too.
That too.
Yeah, I was listening to them earlier before I jumped on the show.
And oh wait, no, I have a few more things. Sorry. I also got some wonderful birthday gifts from some of our listeners. So shout out to Fern for the Spider-Man number 7, the first appearance of Spider-Boy in 9.4. Shout out to Mark/Slifer for the Sheriff of East Flatbush. He also sent me a shirt, which if you watch my video on the Gun channel tomorrow, I was wearing that shirt. It's freaking badass. And then Equan sent me a bunch of Pokemon card packs and like a deck of Pokemon cards, and then a Lego set, which is super awesome.
What an angel!
What an angel!
great guy.
And I got a package from Classy Thomas.
Oh,
I don't know what's inside of it. We're gonna open it live. He
cool.
just said, "Hey, I have something for you," and so I don't know what it is, but I'm excited.
By the way, I legitimately thought your Daft Punk Lego guys were those old school Lego astronauts that you used to get back in the day. When you first showed it, that's what I thought they were. I didn't realize. I'm too old.
You have some high quality tape. Love to see it.
Some ASMR tape action right now.
I know.
Can you imagine the listeners listening to their car on the way to work? They're just listening to tape pop
I
open.
hope so. Sean Forge says, "Wow, DP, I almost choked to death." Okay, so there's a card here. Let's see. Ooh, Classy Thomas with the Starry Night, Vincent Van Gogh.
Always classy.
Let's see here. Happy birthday, Zach. I've heard how much you like the robots, so I thought you might enjoy these. Thomas SpongeBob SquareBalls.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Thomas is such a great guy too.
It really is. Shit, I almost unplugged my headphones. Holy shit! Holy shit.
I'm intrigued. What is it?
Holy shit.
Oh, Daft Punk
Some
feelers?
DP.
Bro. Holy shit.
Bofa?
Bofa!
Damn, that's like a
Holy
$300
shit.
set right there.
I have no idea what we're looking at.
Hang on.
I'm in the dark.
Let me get there.
These are amazing. These are.
Holy shit.
It
Thomas,
took me
bro.
so long to track down a set of these.
I'm like shaking. Like, Thomas, this is.
That is incredible.
Holy Jesus, Thomas.
It's the for anyone who's unaware, the SH Figure Arts
Oh my
Daft
God.
Punk set, Guy Manuel and Thomas
I
Bangalter.
feel like I'm like my heart is like pounding.
Wow.
I've tried to buy these legitimately like 7 times, and
they get more expensive every day.
Thomas, I really owe you something really nice because these are. Oh my! I'm like shaking. These are like super expensive.
Can you handle both of them at the same time?
Wow, I think so. Yeah, the last time I tried to buy these was in December, and the guy wanted a lot of money, and I was like, bro, if you can hold these like 4 days, I can buy them from you, but I think these are sealed too. Holy shit. Thomas, this is too nice for me, Thomas. Holy shit.
Yeah,
You can just see how excited Zach is in his eyes. Like you just
I'm like shaking. Like,
Yeah, that's
holy
fucking
shit.
amazing. Yeah, dude, and as soon as they retired,
Oh my god.
the price went even fucking crazier. These retailed for maybe like $40 each back in the day.
How old is this now, Dean? Like,
God,
These are from
old.
these are from
03 maybe? No.
Oh wow.
Not that old.
No, these aren't from 03, but Dean, aren't these from the newest album?
That's Human After All. No.
No. Wow.
The newest
Thomas,
album
this
is Random Access Memories.
Yeah.
They're
Thomas.
old though. I would maybe because
Well, let me see. I'm
God,
trying to
when
find a copyright date.
when did Human After All come out? 2008?
God, I feel like I'm shaking right now.
They're pretty old. Maybe 2012.
Yeah, they're
Thomas
not
is
that old.
Thomas is in the chat here. SpongeBob SquareBalls. He says, "I got them when they first came out. I found them in my
Thomas,
basement while I was
bro.
cleaning up, and I thought you might like them."
Bro, I'm not even kidding,
Legend.
Thomas. Like, Dean, these are 2013.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding, Thomas. Like, ever since I started collecting, this has been like a grail for me. This and the 1/6 scale. and I've literally tried to buy these like so many times.
Yeah.
So.
Did y'all talk about this on the last episode of After Dark that Thomas was on?
No, he after the show he had messaged me and told me that he was going to send me a gift. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm like, I know I'm pulling up the show, but this is fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah. When they retired, the price has gone down a little, but not much. But when they retired, I was gonna say they went up to almost $200 a piece.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got them. I don't even know how I did it, and this was years ago, maybe 2016. I found someone in Australia who had the set for like $115 shipped, and I bought it as fast as I could type my fucking number. I was like, yes. I don't know how he fucking shipped it and made money. I guess he didn't, but yeah, I have mine sealed, and I never took them out.
Holy shit, Thomas! That actually like blew my mind.
That's an incredible. That's amazing.
I'm not
really happy.
I'm not even kidding. That's like an all-time grill.
Now I just want to see Thomas's basement. He was just like randomly cleaning it out, and all of a sudden he finds this like grail pieces. Like, how cool is his basement?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even.
Zach's got to go lay down now.
I gotta go goon for a bit. Holy shit.
There's no music I love on the planet more than Daft Punk. So
wow, that's
I understand.
Holy shit, Thomas. If you ever need anything for Zach's Wonderland, you let me know. I'll make it happen
for the rest of your life.
Oh my gosh, I need to settle for a second. So Hot Toys Guardians 3 Nebula went up for pre-order $285 July to December 2024. Marco, lead us here because I gotta settle myself for a second.
Yeah, so this Nebula, she's not so crazy different from the last version that we got, right? Which I believe was from Infinity War, but the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. But I love that they gave us the wings, which we only see that kind of for a brief moment in the movie, but I think that that's a great accessory. A good way to differentiate her other look. Obviously, she's in the Guardian suit. She's got multiple swap outs. Now, I would have loved to see a die-cast arm. And I don't know, if they ever do another version of Nebula, that's one way that they could improve. But I think overall, this release, if you're a Nebula fan, if you're trying to get all the Guardians, it's kind of giving you everything you want. But Dean, what do you think about this one?
Well, it is no secret that I'm in love with Nebula. I think
the actress
fantastic.
Or the character?
Both.
Nice.
I would let her step on me. I just bought. It was actually one of my new this week's for next week. I just bought the first Nebula, because she's not really in a team suit, and I don't want to collect a whole fucking new line of figures. But I've always wanted a Nebula, and a listener of the show reached out to me and sold me one, so that's coming. But I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know anything about these accessories. I can't say it's nice that she comes with shit. I think the first one doesn't really come with much of anything, so
and most of the characters from this line so far have not come with much, right? Like very sparse accessories.
Yeah, so 3 or I guess 4 swap out arms, right? Including the just regular arm. That kind of looks kind of like a wasp backpack. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. I like it. They did Nebula right the first time, so it's hard to imagine they would fuck this up.
I wanted to say you look like a wasp backpack, but I don't know if it would land. So
you said it anyways.
It got cut up there anyways. So, so I disagree with you, Marco. I actually think this Nebula is vastly different from the other one. Zach, I actually shared it. If you want to quickly just pop up my other screen.
Is it a new head sculpt, Ben?
It is.
It is a new head sculpt.
It's quite a bit. If you can flip back to the other one now, Zach. I was looking for this figure already, but a Nebula, I should say. And I almost had bought the original version that we just pulled up on the screen, and then this popped up literally the same day I was looking for the other one. So it presented this question to me of this or that or both. Of course, Classy Thomas in the chat has been telling me both for now about a week, but I think I'm leaning towards this one, despite the fact that I'm not totally in on the whole line of the team suit. Nebula stood out to me in this film as one of the best characters of the film. I've seen her now grow. Her arc has changed quite a bit. There was a couple scenes in the film where she gets a little emotional, and that brought me to tears each time. This particular picture on the left is when she's fighting Warlock, and she's like, "Get on the ground!" And she was just so badass in that scene that it immediately made me want to get this as a figure if it came out. Now, will we get the 7-pack as Absolute Irwin has suggested? Probably not. I don't think I feel like I need the whole team suits though. If I was going to collect from this film, I'd actually probably get her and potentially Rocket and Cosmo and call it a day. I think this is really great. The big differential here for me as well on this particular figure is that she's got the split cut boot design, so she's going to be a little bit more easy to pose than the original that had that solid boot cut that traditionally made her hard to even stand up. I've been told from the folks that have her. So I think this is a beautiful figure. I'm really excited about it. The price is a little high, but I think she'd be worth it.
It is nice that they gave us a new face sculpt. I didn't even recognize that initially. I think because Nebula obviously has so much paint and
compared them.
Tech. Yeah. So that's a really interesting point. But it's a cool release for sure. I'm glad that you're excited by it, and I'd be curious if you get this one, if that's going to compel you to kind of chase the other ones in the line as well.
I think this figure is excellent. Now I've only seen the movie once, so. Perhaps there are more accessories that her arm was able to transform into, but I want to say I'm almost certain this is, the regular hand plus these 3 is all that we see. The backpack's such a small moment, right? But they included it. I think that's great. And honestly, I like this a lot. I think 285. You're getting the 3 different arms, and they're all, unique sculpts. They're all painted well. They all have different effects applied to them. I don't hate this price point. I'm still a bit iffy as to, I likely personally wouldn't collect the line, but I think Ben said it best, right? She had such a crazy story arc in this film. And, I think she really carried large portions of this movie.
The chat's just coming after me.
Speak English, motherfucker, Ben Thomas, 2023. I think that portrait looks really good too. Like looking at the one that Ben had brought up. I don't know. I like this one a lot more, to be honest. So, I think this is cool. I think I'm trying to think. She doesn't really interact with a lot because all her stuff is just kind of transforming from her arm. This one does seem a bit light on the accessories, but I don't know. I guess when you think it's like the full armor, the wings, plus the 3 different arms, maybe it's not that light on accessories, but the picture is a bit misleading perhaps.
One thing I think would have been really cool for this figure to come with though is like a crushed in head sculpt, or one where her neck is like totally cricked and smashed, just to have like a battle damage
when she
version.
dies at the end, bro.
She gets twisted up pretty damn hard in this movie a couple of times, and when she kind of rebuilds herself, it's crazy to watch. But that would have been a cool head sculpt accessory.
Wow. Apparently the chat is changing Quinn's words. I don't know what that means. It might be your phone, buddy.
I will just say, Hot Toys seems to partially be phoning in this line because they're not including as many accessories, but the fact that they're giving us new developed head sculpts is very promising, right? Like they could have, I guess Rocket would be one exception where they reuse something from the past, but they really could have done these a lot quicker, but they're kind of going one step above what I thought that they'd do.
For sure. Up next, we have the final product blogger photos from Moon Knight. I mean, I think we all knew that this figure really was going to need some weathering, and I certainly look at and see this and agree with that. But man, I'm actually pretty impressed. I know there was some things that Marco wasn't a big fan of with this figure, and I would certainly agree, but I think overall, I think it's a good figure. I feel like this one had a really fast turnaround. I still don't particularly like the way that the hood attaches to the figure, but it is what it is, and we knew that from the pre-order that it wasn't going to be ideal. But what do you think about this, Dean?
I mean, only because I saw an in-hand photo before and after with the weathering, because these blogger pics look great. I I mean, this photo right here doesn't really look like it needs weathering, but when it's in like just like regular lighting, it's very apparent.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it. I just wish I liked this show and this character more because, you know, I'd be more inclined to get it. It was just very meh for me. And like, I mean, in the grand scheme of the show, you see this Moon Knight like what 3 times? It's like it's weird. It just be like it's like watching an Iron Man movie and he only wears the suit, you know, for like 30 seconds. So it's not the fault of the figure. It misses the mark for me. But I think the figure looks great. If you like the show, if you think I'm an idiot, hey, that's cool. I think it looks like it's going to be a good figure on the shelf.
I do think you're an idiot, but not because of your opinion on this figure.
Wow.
Just for the record.
Wow.
You're a fucking piece
good
of
segue.
shit,
So okay, I really liked the show. I think everybody that said that they didn't, I'm like, fair enough. It wasn't for you guys. I studied dissociative identity disorder when I was in university, or like multiple personalities, and I've always thought that was a very fascinating and difficult syndrome for people to go through. And I thought Oscar Isaac portrayed that incredibly well and sensitively in lots of ways. The show, I'd never heard of the character before, really. I should say, I've heard of him, but I'd never read any comics. I didn't know any of the lore. So I was happy that Marvel kind of presented us with the opportunity to get to know this character a little bit. I thought the ending of the show was the weakest part, but still overall had a great time with it. I immediately went out and bought one of the comic books, and I immediately pre-ordered this when it came up for pre-order last April already, which was crazy. That was already quite a while ago, but... I agree with Zach. I do think that it's just a little on the clean side. I think that's probably my biggest concern with it. Also, of course, the light up eyes. While I think it's a cool feature, without the ability to keep them lit, I do think that this figure will suffer from kind of the dead look. Unfortunately, when it's turned off in the collection, and I haven't gone into the those USB light up functions on any of my figures yet, so I really need to try and figure that out. I do think that the cowl, or like the head, what do you call it, like the hood, being the hood being sculpted like that could pose some difficulty with challenges with posing, I should say. But I don't think it's a deal breaker by any stretch. I am stoked for this figure. I can't wait to get this in the collection. The only other thing that I'd seen people say was that it looked like he was suffering from kind of the boob syndrome that we saw on the Shang-Chi, where in some I can see it a little bit when I pulled up images of the show itself, it matched the aesthetic. So it's not really a Hot Toys thing. I honestly think it's more of the costume design from the show that's given it that. That's this.
Okay, I'm not going to harp on the titties then. If it's true to the show, which I don't recall them being this bulbous, but if you're saying it's true to the show,
I found a picture today that was like pretty bulbous. Yeah.
So it's just a weakness, I guess, of the costume design. I think overall the figure looks interesting. I think this is one that definitely will hit bargain bin. I think, it's kind of one of those releases that I think still falls within that window where there should be a fair amount of stock. So I'd be curious if this drops low enough, I may have my eye on it, but because there's no Oscar Isaac head sculpt, I think it's just ultimately going to be a pass for me at the end of the day. The fact that they didn't give that to us, and I get there could be some things out of their control. Like when you had Marcos on, he was saying, you guys give Hot Toys too much credit. Sometimes there are things out of their control, so perhaps they couldn't get the licensing for Oscar Isaac, but I think he's a Hot Toys collector, and I think he would have wanted his own head sculpt here, so it feels like a big missed opportunity that they may iterate on, that they may do for another version of this character down the line, if we see him again, which I assume we will. I think it's interesting, but a lot of room for improvement on this one.
Bro, can you imagine if Oscar Isaac is a Hot Toys collector and he listens to our show?
That'd be awesome.
Oscar, my man, hit me up, bro.
I feel bad that he hasn't got a head sculpt yet, though, like an official one.
Yeah, what the fuck? All his... Yeah.
They did a dirty with Poe, bro.
Oscar, hire a better publicist or something.
And Marco, you're going to be jealous when you see this in my collection. I bet you any money.
I might. You know what? I can't rule it out completely, honestly. It's interesting. I like the show. Like, a few episodes were standout, a few were dog shit, so somewhere in the middle. But you were saying, Zach?
I think I'm right with Marco, right? If this one goes down low enough, I think this may be a pickup for me. And we've seen some figures lately, go down to that 180, 170 territory. Zombie Hunter Spider-Man being one of those that I still have my eye on. So yeah, this could be a pickup, and the same thing with that Zombie Hunter. It suffers from not having a animated portrait in that case. But let's move on here. We have IG-12. Now this is exciting for me. When we had talked on After Dark as we were reviewing the episodes, and we thought, would Hot Toys make this? And I could see them making it. And one of the things that I mentioned was it needs to have a talking feature. Sure enough, they gave us a talking feature. And to be honest, looking at this at $360 for the deluxe, $264 for the regular, there's a lot to like here. The price is high, but the deluxe, I think they've given it enough that I think it's a must buy, especially if you collect other parts of the Mando line. So first and foremost, you obviously get IG-12. Which was a neat character that they brought back for season 3. They did compare the TMS-008 with the TMS 104/105, so you get to see the difference there in the paint applications and the sculpting. This figure also has 3 display options. You have Baby Yoda inside the little cockpit, you have the Anzellan inside the cockpit, or you have an empty cockpit. You also do have a trio of Anzellans that you can display alongside IG-12, which I think is a really smart way they can broaden the amount of displayability that you have. And I think what really makes this figure sing, though, is the value for, collectors that may have already bought a Mando, that may already have bought a Bo-Katan or a Paz Vizsla. You get the season finale, the jetpack and the shield from the I don't know what they're called, the Super Troopers or the Beskar Troopers. You get the Vibro staff here that Din Djarin had. And there's a lot of people speculating that these different figures that they're showing are going to be new figures that they announced. Key point is the Beskar on this Mando is much cleaner than what was released with the Chrome Beskar. And I think if that's the case, I think a lot of people would be upset because that was really the biggest gripe with that figure. You get the Scorching Hot long rifle here for Paz Vizsla. Again, if you already have this figure, you pay $360 for the deluxe, and that's another figure that you don't need to buy because his armor is fairly consistent. They have given us the shield and the shoulder pad for Bo. We also get to look at a potential new Bo-Katan with the Hot Toys rooted hair, quote unquote, but I don't think this looks particularly good. You have the mouse droid, which is really crazy because I've been asked to make these for Zach's Wonderland, and I did have a lot of trouble with this design, but these are really hard to find. I want to say they came out in one Stormtrooper 2-pack and I think a First Order 2-pack, but these are hard to find, and they did kind of play a funny role in the episode, so it's cool that they're including that. You also get a Grogu pram, or maybe just the top of the pram, but this was also seen in that season finale. And so looking at all this stuff, all these extra accessories, I really feel that they have elevated this from a nice to have to a must have. If you already have a Bo-Katan, if you already have a Paz Vizsla, if you already have a Mando, and you like those looks from the season finale, you don't need to spend, potentially $800 more to get those figures, or buying them part out on Toy Anxiety or Monkey Depot is incredibly expensive. And so the fact that they give you all these things in this package for the cost of about $90, I think it is worth it. The only thing I think is missing here, perhaps, is the shield for Paz, but I know they have already included that in his own separate release from Book of Boba Fett. So I think including it here, I think may probably hurt their numbers on that figure. So I can kind of understand why, but this is a fantastic release. This is a people pleaser release. I think the next logical step for Hot Toys going forward, in my opinion, is to continue doing things like this, or to offer, accessory pack upgrades down the line. $100 as a standalone purchase. I think they'd sell a lot of them, and while it may hurt their bottom line from people not buying new figures going forward, I think the amount of goodwill that it would generate, I think could go a long way for them.
Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to buy a figure, maybe expecting an accessory pack down the road. But yeah, this is it's interesting. I definitely don't hate it. I would have also preferred it by itself because I don't really want an IG-12. I thought that was the cringiest shit on the planet when that episode came out. But the accessories are cool. I was super confused when I started seeing all these pictures. I was like, wait, what the I was like, are they re-announcing all these figures? And then it, finally dawned on me that it comes with the IG-12, and I was blown away. And what's the price point on this guy?
So if you're getting the base version is $264 on Sideshow. If you're getting the deluxe version, which has all these extra accessories and the extra Anzellans, it's $360.
$360. Because I want to say it was John was speculating it was going to be like $500, and I was like, geez, $500? Fuck that. But I mean, $360, honestly, not that bad. Like you said, it complements your Bo, Paz, Mando, and then Grogu. So I think it's cool.
For John and I, it is probably about 500.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. So my tinfoil hat theory on this is that...
Oh, wait, hold on. Pause really quick. Do you really want to say this? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Ben.
Marco, does it float?
I still don't even know what room I'm in, guys. I just showed up. My tongue in cheek theory. Oh my god, my tinfoil hat theory is that Hot Toys knew that if they produced figures with all of these accessories again, they'd have dead stock. That it was a better investment for them to give us these accessories with a figure that people might still buy because of the scene with Grogu, and be able to upcharge. I think they probably had a lot of these accessories already developed with the concept of potentially making these figures in the future that came with all of these accessories, but with then the lackluster success of Mando Season 3 and a ton of Mando stuff still just sitting on Sideshow and all the sites that, provide us these figures, I don't think it would have been a good investment for them to give us separate figures. So instead, it's like, look at this, something new, something that we can get the juices flowing. The only thing that breaks that theory slightly is seeing the Bo-Katan picture, because they showed us a rooted hair version of that character when obviously we only had sculpted versions before. So maybe we'll get another Bo-Katan, but I don't know why they would give us that now if they've given us the figure accessories that we'd otherwise want to buy that figure for. So I think, again, this was a concept at some point. I think they were going to give us all these accessories with the other figures and then realized they wouldn't sell. So now we got to move this.
Yeah, so that's significantly better than the 7-pack theory, because I don't think it's tinfoil hat at all. I think it's 100% the truth, right? They do have, I think this IG-11 is still in stock. They still have plenty of, Chrome Mandos, Beskar Mandos that are still sitting around. So they can't go too deep into this line. Also, when watching the season, you kind of thought, well, there's not like a bunch of toyetic new looks, right? There was a lot of stuff that played off of previous looks and with only slight moderation. So I wouldn't be shocked if they still give us a new bow. They still give us a new Mando with the jetpack and maybe like some other cool accessory that I can't necessarily think of right now. But I think this is a good compromise, right? If you really want all of these accessories to plus your figures, I think this is a really great way to do it. I don't love that they make you buy IG-12 with it, but I think it's ostensibly like a Grogu and a mech suit, if you want to look at it that way, which they think, okay, everyone loves Grogu, so we'll give them a plus Grogu and then a bunch of accessories. I think the only thing that's missing, though, we need more diorama bases. They always are posing up a bunch of their figures on these really cool bases, and then they give us standard stuff, like give us some diorama bases, even if you add it as an accessory with another figure. I don't really care how you deliver it, but I think that's a really cool way to add some interesting dynamic looks to the display. So if you're giving us a bunch of accessories, start peppering in those really cool diorama bases.
For sure. I mean, it probably saved us $1,300 worth of figures too. So if for the folks who have to buy everything that comes out, those completionist collectors, it saved us a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like this, but holy shit, the bow looks fucking awful. That rooting is terrible.
I think it's also the same sculpt. It's the same face.
Yeah, that this just goes back to the toy look, right? Like, the Wonder Woman rooting I think was pretty good. Like Marco said, how is it actually going to arrive on display? I think it looked a bit rough, but God, that looks awful. But
maybe
man,
they're
everything
teasing
else,
us with that now, and then if there's enough of a pushback, maybe they just go with the rooted look,
or just scrap it.
Yeah, or scrap it maybe, but maybe they give us a deluxe premium version. Like here's the rooted wool hair that we did with the Wonder Woman, and here's kind of a premium version of Bo-Katan.
Sure. I really hope they're not remaking Mando. That would be like Mando, Beskar to Chrome Beskar all over again.
They're doing it.
Yeah, we'll see. They also teased the Flash. I haven't seen this movie, Supergirl, I assume. And so this is, whether or not they're actually going to make it. This would be their fourth figure from the movie, because we have one Batman, the Flash. So this would be the third figure from the film. And they've also obviously teased Dark Flash. So let's just blow through that quickly. And then this one as well, Kamen Rider by Hot Toys. We have 2 teases here, so looks like they're going to be leaning into this line as well. This is pretty cool. This is the Thunder Toys Alien Host. And back when this movie first came out, I really didn't like the Venom look. Not because of anything about the look, but you have to put the mindset of Topher Grace being that 70s show star, and it was really tough to separate Eric Foreman from Eddie Brock. And given that he's really grown into a great actor since then, watching this movie these days, it is much easier to take and accept this. And this role has also just grown on me in the past, however long it's been. And so this is a very tempting pickup for me. I'm like this close to putting one on pre-order. It looks fantastic. I think the portrait looks super silly, but it obviously looked that way in the film. The Venom sculpt I think looks really good. And I've seen the quality of some of their other Spider figures, and they were pretty good. They were really solid figures. So I'm very tempted by this, and I'm wondering what you guys think about this. I hate you so much.
Yeah, I mean, talk about doing a discredit to everybody, including Venom. This movie, fucking terrible. The choice for him to be Venom, even worse. Like you said, it looks goofy in the goddamn movie. So, I mean, does this figure look like the movie? Sure. But it's also like not a good thing, I don't think. But I mean, I don't have to buy it. So that's, I mean, if you want it, cool for you.
How dare you, Jose? There's nothing to talk about with the Supergirl. There's literally nothing to talk about.
He wants to tell you it's Thomas Wayne in the Supergirl costume.
I see. Real quick on the Alien Host, the price is $177, so not a bad figure for that. And then there is also a base. The base is $135, and that would be the base there. I don't think I'd be interested in that, but there it is alongside the Spider-Man, the Spooderman.
You're not interested in the best part of the figure package?
Oh, this is the best part for the price of the figure? No, I'm not interested. Are you? I don't know. Tell me about it.
I think this would be cool.
Honestly, I think this could go with a lot of your, Spider-Man, Batman. I think this is like a really cool base. But overall, I think you and I are going to be alone here, Zach, that I think it looks cool too. I actually didn't hate the design of Venom in the Spider-Man 3 film. And in fact, I don't hate Spider-Man 3. It is goofy. It is undersized. But as kind of like a dark foil to Peter Parker, he's just like some nerdy guy, right? So it kind of worked in the film a little bit in that he's a little bit truer to a foil to Peter. But yeah, I don't think it looks terrible at all. I don't love the Topher Grace head sculpt, but this look right here, I think that could look really interesting on the shelf. There are better options for Venom now, and there will be in the future when Hot Toys Unlikely does something for the game. So I would say this definitely is not going to be for like 99% of people, but definitely interested in this. What do you think, Ben?
I think for the price, it's still kind of cool. I could see the appeal of it. I thought this Venom was pretty cool back in the day. I wasn't thinking of him as Eric Foreman. And because that movie had so many different villains packed into it, I still thought the Venom was one of my favorite parts of the film, despite it being, pretty quick at the end of that movie. I think the head sculpt with the symbiote kind of melting over his face looks very much like Topher did in that one scene, because he had like the weirdly spiky teeth and everything. Definitely not the head sculpt I would display with this, though. But I do like that this is a smaller scale figure than my big ass Venom from the Sonyverse Venom film. I love that figure, but he's so big, and then the Carnage to pair with him is even bigger. Yeah. I like that this would actually scale better with a 6-scale collection in a lot of ways. So I actually don't hate this. I think for the price it's pretty cool. And that base, like you were saying, could go with Batman. It could go with Spider-Man. It could go with Daredevil. Like there's like, take your pick. It would look cool with a lot of different collectibles.
The chat hates us.
So I think it's
decent.
I think we got to go back to Supergirl though after this.
God, people are bitching about Supergirl. I want to clarify. I don't think the base is bad. I just wouldn't pay like $300 for this and the base. I could see getting the base separately another time, but as a complete package, I don't like it. I'm fucking super tempted. The price is actually really good on this. And now I just rewatched the movie like 3 months ago. I kind of want to rewatch it again. This movie is fucking wild. And a fucking Eric Foreman / Eddie Brock, man, he's got that fucking dog in him, bro. Fucking praying to the Virgin Mary to kill Peter Parker, bro. That movie is fucking out of control. Let's I guess we'll go back to Supergirl because the chat demands it. So anyone have a take on this teaser that may or may not even be a figure?
I haven't seen the movie, but I follow her on Instagram, and god damn,
she's fucking bad, bro.
Please, Lord.
Dude.
I would let this woman dog walk me, bro. I would let her step on my face, bro.
Dude, step on my cubes, bro. Yeah. I think it has a possibility to be a really cool fucking figure. No idea if the character's cool in the movie. I haven't seen it. So I don't know, but people love their Superman characters, and as far as I know, this movie's done pretty well, so I see a lot of people wanting to add this to their collection.
I mean, I've heard it's been pretty divisive. I feel like a lot of people have said that it was like okay, like a 6 to 8 out of 10, somewhere in that range. A lot of folks have said that this is one of their favorite parts of the film, the Supergirl aspect, even though people wish they had developed the character more. But again, I have also not seen it yet. I see it tomorrow night, so I can update you guys with my opinions on the film itself. As far as the figure, I think this could just end up being a notorious Graveyard Hot Toys tease. I don't
put
totally
that into
trust.
The universe, Ben.
I don't totally trust that it's coming.
It's the part of the 7-pack.
They didn't show us much with this. This could have just been as easily as been like a film still that they pretended is a figure coming. I don't truly trust it at this point. Tinfoil hat.
Don't put that evil out there at all, Ben. So she was a standout in the film, a film that I really enjoyed. It definitely is divisive. It's tanking in the box office, so that it does worry me for sure that it's like, oh, maybe we were going to do it, but now that it's not as successful. But yeah, she was terrific, honestly. And I think that there are talks about her returning potentially into the new DC James Gunn universe. From something that I saw earlier today. So I hope that that's true. And I just want to say shout out to the Colombian folks, if there's any Colombians listening, that their stereotype went from drug dealers to just absolute baddies now. That's all that you think about. When you think about Colombians, you just think about the hottest women, maybe even taking the spot of Mexicans and Brazilians. So shout out to them. What an absolute turnaround.
Mexican women were at the top of that list?
I think so. I would say. I'm obviously biased, but...
I don't know. I thought
Brazilian after the movie you made us watch, bro.
Wow, City of God.
Oh my god, I forgot about that movie. I don't know.
Oh no, Brazilians for sure on the top of that list, dude.
I don't know. Colombians giving them a run for their money lately. I'm just saying.
That's fair. You guys turned me into a girl with a Snapchat though yesterday that I would argue rivaled some of these Colombian women. That we've been
Who did
about.
that?
Wait, which Snapchat? Wait, which Snapchat are we talking about? Why am I not in the Snapchat?
It was in our group chat. They turned me into a girl with dark hair, and it was. I thought.
That girl.
Bendita.
Yeah. Bendita the bonita. Yeah, that's. Let's get back to the best figure of the year. Just kidding. The chat would go fucking wild. I like this so much. I may have to pre-order this. Police Robot, the T-1000 from Terminator 2, 225 Q1 to Q2 2024. It's,
serviceable?
It's not my favorite, Dean, but it is my least favorite.
Yeah,
I don't know. Fern just got this figure, and the size of the portrait compared to the Hot Toys one is staggering. It's like a Magnum head sculpt.
You mean he got the T800, right? Is what he got?
Sorry, the T800, yes. And he was comparing it to the police shootout. I'd have to look at the outfit to see if the badges and the name badge are accurate. I think that's important on an outfit that is fairly simple. I like that you get... I want to say, Ben, I think you had said this comes with 2 bodies, so...
I did not say that.
Someone said that. I don't know. I was just hoping
it might even be 3 bodies, honestly. Let me go look it up.
Yeah, double check that.
I want to say it's a 7-pack.
Yeah, so you get 7 bodies, one for each
dozen
part of the film. Okay, so Quinn says the name badge is accurate, so that's great to see. But I like it. You get the knife hand. You get the knife / hook knife arms. You get the little MP5 there, the Beretta. A decent looking base. I also do like the fact that you get the motorcycle gear, the helmet, the glasses, and the jacket.
Yeah.
To be honest, this would be a great base for the Ox PD custom, but
I think you do get 2 bodies because
2 bodies, the biker cop and the regular.
The boots, yeah. It's a totally different outfit.
Yeah, this is you also get that extra portrait for pre-order only, which I always think that's kind of funny because that's definitely not the case. I think the success of this figure is really going to depend on how good this chrome looks in person. I think in these photos, I don't think it looks particularly good. It's really got to capture that liquid metal look of the film. What is the it's the 225, I'm sorry.
a
bit up there. What are you doing? The Bendita.
This is Bendita.
Yeah, that's Ben.
I'm trying to film the television show, Marco. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, had to share with the universe here.
Quinn, that's Ben's cousin, actually. If anyone thinks she's hot, let us know. What do we think about this?
She lives in Canada.
Yeah, I think it's serviceable. I will say Present Toys usually does pretty good. I'm almost expecting that the one that comes out is actually better than the prototype because I don't think I liked the T800 when they showed it, but in hand I think it looks pretty good in terms of looking like Arnold.
Arnold,
show me your leadership capabilities. So yeah, I'm kind of expecting this to be better. I think the gun's too small. I mean, it
really is small. On that
yeah,
a Beretta's a pretty big gun.
Yeah, the M9, dude. I want that gun so bad. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think this is a figure that a lot of people have wanted in their collection and they don't feel like spending on Hot Toys money. So if this comes out, 70% or better, I think it's an easy pickup for a lot of people.
Marco, people are asking you who that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the photo on stream. I think a lot of people want to see Ben's cousin. That's okay with you, Ben?
She's definitely not my cousin. You guys are gonna get catfished.
Where's the photo at? Is it in the show sheet chat?
Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna stop down the whole show. I'm sorry for those watching. I know there's a lot of people watching, but we have to. We have to do it.
All right, just sent it to you.
Yeah, let's see here. Tell me this woman isn't a dime. A dime piece, bro.
Oh my god.
We're stopping the whole show down. We're in the chat, yay or nay?
Man, prime age Amanda Bynes right here, for sure.
Bro, she's fucking fine.
She has a penis for sure, boys. I'm just saying. Look at that Adam's apple.
A big one.
A BWC. I don't think I could ever look at you in the eyes again, Ben. You're fine as fuck. The chat says they would smash.
I would.
Smash or pass. Smash or pass.
Better start an OnlyFans, Ben.
That's what I suggested.
Ben posted, or someone posted this picture, and I was like, BRB buying a plane ticket. I'm going to Canada right now.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner right there.
You guys kill me. Oh my god.
Burtis says no comment, dude. Burtis is bricked up. Look at that. The whole chat says smash for sure.
Well,
Darth Vader shirt, I'm in.
You guys are awesome. Okay.
Safel says, "Oh, it's Ben. Even better."
You guys are awful. Okay.
What is the show today?
Oh my god, the best. Some of the best content ever.
Definitely. Blow your back out, Ben.
Oh my god.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, right?
Okay, so why is the middle head sculpt on this figure the exclusive version if it looks very similar to the one on the left, just a slightly paler version? That's my first question.
He's smirking.
It looks like the same head sculpt, just tilted in a different direction.
Yeah, that's how I smirk.
Yeah, maybe.
I think this is actually pretty badass. I've got the battle damaged Arnie coming from Present Toys, and I'm really excited about that figure. And I think it would be cool to pair this police robot with him. I don't know why they didn't call it, T1001 like Shane from 1/6 Figure Focus suggested to me the other day, because I was like, that would have been a better name than Police Robot. In some of the other pictures, it's called Robot Police, so like their naming convention kind of switches between their slides. But I think it's kind of cool. I think the best version of this character, though, is the one with the bullet hole damage. I think that would be the way I would display that if I had it. So I think it's cool. It even comes with the crowbar arm. You gotta love that.
Yeah,
you guys are you guys are crazy.
No, I think you're like kind of all right in that I wanted the Hot Toys version. I don't want to spend that money because obviously it's an older figure. You never know what you're going to get. This is a serviceable edition, but you're kind of always going to be holding out for something a bit better, right? Like, obviously you'd want to display him with all the bullets through him, like Ben said. But then at the end of the day, I don't know, like, is it just going to be just good enough for your collection, or are you going to aspire to have more? So, and also I kind of worry with Present Toys, they're releasing or putting out so many pre-orders that how long is it going to be until this one comes out? A year, 2 years? Is another company going to have one in development by then? Yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting for sure. It's not a bad looking prototype, but there's definitely maybe some better options in the future.
Wow, they want to see me on that filter. $100 super chat.
We should make that happen. Actually, I'd be curious.
Dean, whenever is he even here? Are you with us, Dean? Dean.
Sure, yeah, I've been here this whole
there
time.
We go.
I'm sorry.
Wow. What is this? Tell me about this.
Game Toys Tifa. So this picture popped up this morning. It was like 6 a.m. And this popped up in a Final Fantasy Facebook group I'm in. And we've seen pictures of the Game Toys Tifa head sculpt. And then every once in a while they would do like an outfit update, but it's been like 6 months since we've really seen anything from this. And then boom, this popped up. And we saw very similar pictures of this with the last cloud they put up for soliciting, where it's like a picture of the figure, standing up and down, and then an in-depth look at the silicone body. We had to not show most of this picture because she's naked in it. But it just goes over the medical grade silicone and like features of the body. And, when they showed those pictures of Cloud, I would say within like a week or so, it was already up for pre-order. So hopefully this will be up for pre-order soon. I will order it as soon as it pops up. I love Tifa. She's one of the greatest characters, not only of Final Fantasy, but of all time. So yeah, it looks fantastic. I already know Game Toys delivers on their fucking product. 3 bangers, one after another. I already have Cloud on order, so avid children, so I'm excited for this
Tifa.
They did advertise this as medical grade silicone, which is hilarious. And this is a brand new body as well, so you could
so it's not a TV body, or do they partner with them or make their own?
It says it's a medical grade silicone, metal skeleton, but it says it doesn't say they partner with anybody. It just says it's specifically developed for Tifa.
Interesting.
So it's not just an off the shelf body.
Erwin says based on previous Game Toy releases, if you want this, jump on it right away, and I think that would be a fairly accurate assumption there. Let's move on here. Ben, we got some news from Exo6. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so the Ensign Kim that I recently called Sculpted Butter figure was released recently, and Exo6 put out this a couple days ago, this official announcement, and essentially it says here, I won't read the whole article, but basically it says they were supposed to give him Lieutenant Pips in the box. It's something that they'd promised. It was a bit of an inside joke when it came to Harry Kim throughout this, like the show. He was an ensign pretty much the entire time. It's the only character, it seems, in Star Trek history that's got kind of pigeonholed into his role. But because they were stuck in the Delta Quadrant on the Star Trek Voyager ship, they couldn't really promote him all that well. So there was an allusion to Lieutenant at one point, and then there was one episode where you get to see him as a captain. But for the most part, he was known as Ensign Kim. Now, XO6 has made a boo-boo, though, and forgot to add this Lieutenant Pip into the box, which gives me one of two thoughts. On the first hand, it sucks that they said you were going to get it and then they forgot to give it to you. If you bought from XO6 directly, it says here that you can reach out to them and they will send it to you. It doesn't indicate whether there's going to be a cost associated with that, so keep that in mind. But it also says here that if you want to put the Lieutenant Pip on the outfit, you actually have to pull this one off, risking damaging the outfit, and that they will not replace the outfit for you if you damage it, which is fair. I mean, if they're glued on well enough, there's a chance you could tear it. I can see why they wouldn't want to replace the outfits. But honestly, I feel like in terms of an inside joke for the character, they shouldn't have even said that they were going to give it to us at this point anyways. And now that they forgot, obviously people are a little bit upset about that. So it's too bad, but I would leave him as an ensign anyways, even if they'd put it in the box.
That's a really weird... It's like, hey, we designed this figure to have swap out parts, but you can damage it swapping it out. So good luck.
Yeah, because they glue it on the outfit.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like you could have done magnets, in the back or something.
Well, especially since Exo 6 does magnets for the way that they holster their tricorder and the phaser and everything. Like, that's typically magnetized onto the figure's hips, so they definitely could have if they wanted to.
So that guy was actually in Star Trek?
Harry Kim, yeah. Yeah, Star Trek Voyager.
It was interesting the way that this developed, because someone had put a post like, hey, I thought these were supposed to be in the box. And then some people were like, oh, it's just an inside joke. And that kind of snowballed for a bit. And they're like, oh, no, but it wasn't, because it was actually in the product description. And I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I think Nanjin had kind of made a joke about it at first. And then I think at some point that it had actually kind of developed into like a more formal, serious post. Because I think more people were like, I mean, if it's a joke, then why? Like, we paid for what's in the product description and we didn't get it. So I think some people were upset, but good on them for, admitting that mistake and correcting it. Not all of the Harry Kims have been shipped from distribution, so if yours hadn't been shipped yet, Nanjim had said that they were going to pack those in, so it's possible that when a lot of people get theirs, it will already be in the box, but if not, they'll be sending them by standard mail. So
for sure.
That's cool, but yeah. Be careful taking it off, because if you rip that shit, then you're just SOL.
To just add to that as well, Zach, it doesn't say here in this post at all if you've bought the Harry Kim through Sideshow, for example, or some of the other distributors, if you're going to have the option. It just says here, like, if you bought it from Exo 6, you can contact us, which is kind of shitty. The other thing we didn't add to the show sheet this week, but was the Tom Paris that was released, and kind of a companion with Harry Kim also looked pretty rough. So we won't have a photo for you today, guys, but I did post a video on my show if you want to take a look, but he's rough. He's real rough. It just kind of goes back to that Voyager line, for whatever reason, seems like it's been in-housed, whereas quite a few of these other figures have been quite a bit better in the quality, but very much a roller coaster, and a pretty big disappointment for a lot of folks.
There you go. Mondo Toys had Skeletor Deluxe 265. This is a timed edition. The pre-order lasting from the 20th of June to the 30th. You've enabled a few of our Patreon members to get this. I'm not counted amongst them, but I mean, it seems like people are very excited for this. It's just not for me, to be honest. It's a huge price point for this kind of a figure, but is this something that you were going to get, Ben?
You know what? I've wanted the Skeletor for quite a while. So they'd had a 1.0 version at one point that went sold out and gone, and then increased in price like crazy. But Mondo's notorious for coming out with 2.0s and kind of, I want to call them soft reissues of past figures with different accessories. Now this figure, they've actually upgraded the body so it has better articulation at the waist. They've also widened the stance on this figure in comparison to the 1.0. So based on the description of the product, it is a superior version over the 1.0. And with the head sculpts that come here with the articulating jaw, like you can make this figure look like so different from one pose to the next. I think that's incredible. In fact, I'd love to see a couple of collectors get together and have like a Pose Wars type challenge of how many different looks can you have for this character, because it's an insane amount. Now, for me, getting this figure makes me feel like I want to buy the rest of the line. I haven't bought the Trapjaw yet. I haven't got the Panther that's been, I think, solicited now at this point. Maybe not quite yet, but the Battle Cat was. The Battle Cat came in at over $500. The Trapjaw was in the $225 range. For this deluxe edition, it's at $265, which is, like, for me, once I convert it to Canadian, like, we're looking at over $300. So that does mean if I bring this guy to my collection, that's probably a Hot Toys figure that I will not buy. Having said that, if I was going to buy one or two of the figures from Masters of the Universe, it would be Skeletor and He-Man. And so I think it's cool. I think it's real cool. I think the outfit hides a lot of the joints well. It does still look like a bigger toy for sure, but I think it's beautifully done. Even the fabric cape comes with a wire. Like, there's like, it's a really, really, really well done figure, and the paint apps look beautiful. So I think for those of you who are interested in this, you do have from June 20th to June 30th in terms of the timed pre-order window. So I would say if you're interested in it, lock it in, because once it's gone, it will definitely increase in price on the aftermarket. That's for sure.
Skeletor! Rub my nipples, He-Man! Thrust your blade deep into my ass!
Oh my god!
Yeah, Skeletor is fucking cool. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He's fucking awesome. This figure looks cool. I think it's the inclusion of like the cartoon skeleton face is like cheeky and fun, but also like it's gonna look super out of place with the rest of the figure. But you know, they're there. That's fine. I think it looks fucking cool, man. And like Ben said, these sold out and people immediately regretted it, not getting it. So it's cool to see it again. But I don't collect this. I don't collect He-Man stuff, so it's a super easy pass for me.
Damn, neither do I. And I want to say it's an easy pass, but it looks so damn good. And this kind of lifelike looking sculpt, I think, is a big selling point for me. It's a slippery slope, though. Do I even want to go down this line? I was on the kind of fence with that Sabretooth as well. I think I'm going to have to pass on them, but damn, this looks so good. It's so tempting.
That Battle Cat is like a centerpiece for people's collections. For some of the folks who've got it, like I've had a couple friends that have sent me pictures. It is massive. It is so cool looking, though. So cool.
You'd have to really love the property, right, to take up that much real estate in the collection.
And cost, honestly, as I said, just for the three figures, the Trapjaw, this guy, and the Battle Cat, you're well over $1,000 American, right? So,
yeah, definitely. Let's plug this real quick one more time. The 3,000 subscriber giveaway sponsored by Collector Zone. Here's the link if you guys want to enter that. The bonus code today. What was the bonus? I don't remember what it was. Magnum for the bonus code. That's 2 entries if you haven't entered yet, or just a bonus entry. Fill that form out, and you could be the lucky winner. We just have 100 more subs to go, so we're right around the corner for 3,000. Badfish, no, your wife cannot enter. Yeah, one of you lucky gents or ladies will be winning this, and good luck to everyone in the chat. Hot seat. Let's see here. Let's get 60 seconds on the clock. We're gonna go old school. Ben, we're gonna start with you. 1 minute timer here. Let's get the pressure going. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Ben, your question is, everyone's question is, when does someone become a collector, right? Is it buying one figure, 2 figures, 3 figures, or what specifically do you go from just being a person to a person that collects figures, I guess, in this case?
So I definitely don't think it's the amount that counts. I think it has way more to do with the nostalgia punch that hits you in the chest and then immediately gives you that feeling of, I want to have something physical from the property that I love. And whether that's a comic book, whether it's a television show, special edition, whether it's a figure, doesn't really matter what it is. As soon as you get that nostalgia punch and you want to collect something from that thing that you love, I think immediately you become a collector. Especially when it comes to things like pop culture, because in pop culture, that can represent so many different feelings for us. So if it's a figure in your collection, that one figure might be the one thing that you are most excited to see when you walk into your living room, your theater room, doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to have more than one in order to be a true collector on the inside.
Beautiful answer. Marco, when does someone become a collector?
See, my opponent would want you to believe that you become a collector at... No, okay. So this, I think, is the same... Fuck, I can't speak today. Threw myself off here. All right. Let me reset here. Whew. Try to do a bit and it didn't go well. All right, so I'm going to take 10 more seconds. I think it's when you pull up a page on the internet, when you're starting to think about collecting is when you become a collector, right? So the moment you start browsing, I know for me, it probably took about 10 years until I, purchased my first hot toy, but I had the idea for a while. So I had, had the page up looking at Dark Knight figures. And really, I think that's ultimately at the end of the day, when you become a collector, when you're in that sphere, when you're thinking about pulling the trigger, when you're thinking about making the leap, and it could be any number of things, but that's it. So yeah. All right. No more bits for me. I'm done.
Marco, quick side question though. When you used to collect Jordans, for example, at what point did you feel like a collector of those? Because you had quite the collection of those, and it's very different than what you're saying with regards to figures.
It's true. But when I was a kid, I was gifted my first pair of Jordans by my parents, and so I don't know that I was necessarily a collector at that point when I got my first pair, but I had aspired. I was reading magazines, looking to get a pair. So. I think the same goes for shoe collecting as well.
Yeah, Sam Giss says the moment I realized I was collecting pics of Ben as a chick, the moment I became a collector was when I bought them to display them. Tina, you become a collector when you realize that buying clothes is expensive and buying what you collect is not.
That's why I shop at Walmart.
Daniel Burtis says you're a collector when your significant other asks why with each new package.
There you go.
Nicolio, collecting is a state of mind, and Sam Gist, when I bought a 2-story house just for my collecting. Dean, I'm in on the clock. When do you become a collector?
Collecting starts at conception. I'm just kidding.
That's where I was going, Dean, and then I was like, I got to be careful with my words here, so I tripped myself up.
Yeah, I gave you a point for that, by the way.
I think it just depends on what it is, right? If it's movies, I don't know. I because you could just buy movies, and I wouldn't. I don't know, because sometimes like there is movie collections, right? But like if it's a figure, if you buy one, maybe not, and then you're like, well, I don't want it by itself, right? I need a companion piece. So you buy two, and then you're like, well, I already have two. Like, what's another one? So maybe like the third figure, you become like a collector. I think with something like shoes. Even one pair of shoes, it's like, damn, that's like a $1,500 pair of shoes. Like, that's a collection, So I think it just depends on like what it is.
I'll give you guys all 3 points for that. Very good answers. The board is tied 6-6 all the way around.
I felt like a weird kind of collector the other day because I went looking for Sonic figures for Dean's collection, not for my collection. He had sent me those pictures, and I was like, I wonder if I can find these 2 figures. So I went shopping for you, Dean. I couldn't find them, but I tried.
Thanks,
the effort was there.
You're a good guy.
What a guy.
Start thinking
Fern
about other
says you
people's
become
collections.
a collector when you rather buy a figure than pay the IRS.
Oof.
Equan says, I knew I was a collector when the wife walked in on me posing my figures and said, this is how I know you're not cheating on me. So our main topic for tonight is speak up, right? I think it's important as collectors that we speak up. Hot Toys put up a post last night that Hot Toys has been striving for top-notch collectible experiences by crafting true-to-movie figures. We study from feedback continuously and refine prototypes to bring our creative projects to fruition. After careful consideration, we decided to give a significant costume upgrade to the 1/6 scale Spider-Man 2099 figure from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This newly designed Spider-Man 2099 suit, now made in a highly stretchable fabric, allows a full range of articulation and also features luminous reflective patterns to accentuate the character's unique ability. And I have to say that, one, I applaud Hot Toys for making this decision. I think universally, I think the feedback was that this was a lazy attempt at making a figure. It was not up to par with what I think collectors expected from Hot Toys, nor was it up to par with, I think, what we deserved for the price point. And this was priced very well. And I'm wondering if that price is going to go up now that it does have that fabric suit. So might possibly want to lock in your pre-orders a bit early. But the thing that I really want to focus on, and absolutely not to take away from what Hot Toys has done here, which I think is incredible, is the collectors that will say, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Keep your mouth shut. And I think that's an incredibly toxic way of speaking to fellow collectors. And I don't know that it's really productive for anybody, right? Nothing in the world has ever gotten changed by people that don't like it not buying it, right? Obviously, if pre-order numbers are bad enough, I guess you could make that argument, but I think the thing that we should be saying is, if you don't like it, don't buy it, but also tell the company why, right? Because you're giving that constructive feedback. And I think along the board, right, I think the general consensus was, if you're doing it for articulation, it doesn't make sense because the other characters are as articulated, and you've made these figures for decades, right, that are meant to be posable, that you have put fabric suits on top of them. You also have the body already. And so it didn't make a lot of sense, right? And so I want to just remind people of some recent things that have happened, because as a community, as collectors, we have spoken up, right? Because I really want to put the people listening to our show in the mindset that, like, just not buying it isn't really a great thing, right? I think we should encourage people to speak up. You guys wanted us to talk about Supergirl, and we did, because you spoke up. Gandalf the Grey by Inner, right? When this first came out, obviously the solicitation photos were missing a bit there. And we had Dean and John and myself, and then you guys here, we said, hey, like, you're missing something, right? We provided the input, we provided the evidence, we showed how they were inaccurate in offering us only one staff, right? And it took the whole community. It wasn't just us five. It took the whole community coming together, voicing that opinion to make that happen. And it did. After consideration, they decided to add that second staff, right? Big win for the community. I think as big a win as this, 2099. Han in the chat says, your own opinion is your most important. I mean, I completely agree. And in other cases, right, the Spider-Man, the new red and blue suit. A lot of people, myself included, didn't like the portrait. I felt that it looked a bit odd. And Hot Toys had done a update post where they had said, hey, we took a lot of these portraits, completely revamped them, and I think they're much, much better because collectors spoke out, right? I think it's very important. When Hot Toys released the Mark 85, aka the Stuart Little, a lot of people were really upset. And we as collectors voiced that opinion. We canceled pre-orders, right? We let them know that this was unacceptable. And what did they do? They recalled the sculpts. It was an exchange program through Sideshow, through Hot Toys, and we got a really good portrait, right? A really good Mark 85 portrait because we spoke up. In the past, when Hot Toys solicited the BVS Batman, a lot of people were joking like, dude, this is Fat Man. Like, he is way shredded in the film. And what we see from Hot Toys, because they had already started parading this around at the different conventions, it was terrible. We spoke up and we got one of the greatest, I would say one of the greatest Hot Toys Batman figures ever made, right? And that became the basis for, 3 or 4 different figures that were adopted from this muscle body suit. And so I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because that rhetoric, like, don't like it, don't buy it, don't talk about it, right? Let the people that are buying it have our opinions, but if you're not going to buy it, then keep your mouth shut. I think it's bad rhetoric. Dean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I always say on the show, squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you don't voice your opinion respectfully, there are people who don't do that, and shame on you, whoever you are.
I'm gonna give you a bonus point because I think that's respectful. I think is the way that you need to be doing it.
Yeah. Now, if you're in the chat shooting shit with your friends, you could be funny and talk shit, but if you're going out to like Facebook or Hot Toys like public Facebook page to like complain, you gotta be nice. Like, hey, I don't like this. This could be better. Don't just shit on it for the sake of shitting on it, which I know I'm guilty of all the time. Not publicly on their Facebook page, but I'm a very negative person when it comes to figures and stuff. Like,
bro, you're just negative in general. You're a piece of shit. To be
you're
honest.
Not wrong. Zach is
me
not
off
wrong,
this whole
guys.
week. I'm like, bro, what is Dean on this for? That fucking stick
I'm
up
on
his
my
ass.
bullshit, dude. But yeah, it's especially when we're spending this kind of money in a time where not a lot of people have that kind of money to be spending. And I think that contract of I'm giving you this much money, I think they should be open to, making those changes. And, for most of the part they are, especially the 2099 suit. That's very cool. So yeah, I think, voicing your opinion is always a good thing, right? If you're unhappy and you just let that shit bottle inside you, no matter what it is, right? It's never a good thing. So yeah, get out there and voice those opinions.
Sam Giss says, talk about pick your battles, because when all the community complains and nitpicks every release, the community just become known as whiny bitches. But when we unite, when it's warranted, it's heard. So I only partially agree with you, Zach and Dean.
How dare you?
I think what I've seen from this last day is we as content creators and collectors have collectively patted ourselves on the back a little bit for voicing our distaste for this past release. And can you go back to the article or like the wording?
I like this story little photo.
Right. Here it says, very strategically, we study from feedbacks continuously and refine prototypes, blah, blah, blah. After careful consideration, we decided to give a significant costume upgrade. What that tells me is this did not sell. Period. Money speaks louder than any words to a company like Hot Toys. They absolutely had the ability to control the message like Marco commonly says. They could have said, we heard you. We heard you. But they didn't say that. They didn't. They were very strategic in their approach on how they stated this. I don't think this sold at all. And for the group of folks out there that still liked the more posable option, which there are a few, I've seen them in the groups, in the chats, I don't think that number outweighed the possible loss of money for this company if they did not make the change. I think that Tony Stank head sculpt is actually the wrong example to provide, because I think they would have kept that head sculpt in the box if people hadn't rioted about it and not decided to buy that figure, that one of the most iconic versions of that Iron Man. But people weren't buying it because they weren't happy with what they were seeing, so they had to change it.
Ben, I think that I have to disagree with you there, though, because that was after the pre-orders, right? That figure was already being released when we saw that head sculpt.
But people were getting it in hand.
They would have sold their allocation to Sideshow. They would have sold allocations in Hong Kong and other overseas. So I think that is an applicable scenario. But anyways, continue.
Okay. No, for sure. But then what about Batman Begins? What about the collective riot of Batman Begins? People getting that figure in hand and being absolutely just devastated by the fact that they haven't upgraded that one. But enough sold, so they didn't change it. I worry that it's money speaks all languages. I don't think
I think
unlike your situation with the Moria staff with InArt actually like stated collecting weekly helped make this change happen. They didn't say we studied our analytics and we've
Hot
come to
Toys
this
is never going to
decision.
pat us on the back like that. They're not going to say the content.
But it was a
creators did
great opportunity for them to do that. No, not even the content creators, but just the community in general. I think it unfortunately has more to do with the dollar sold versus them hearing community feedback. I think if this had sold, they would have kept it the way it was.
I would say we study from feedbacks continuously would incorporate all of that, because if you look at the posts of this figure, the solicitation, it was like sometimes it's like 50-50, right? When there is something somewhat controversial. I mean, this was like 80-20 or like 90-10. It was bad. And to the point on the Batman, like it's much easier for them after the fact to send out new portraits than it is to do like a full recall on the body, right? I think the DeLorean, as much as I would have as much as I personally advocated for them to recall it, I think just the logistics, like everyone says, is just really hard to do. Mm-hmm. The head sculpts is easy, right? In the US, you pay your own dime to send it to Sideshow. They send you one back on their dime. With the Batman Begins, I don't know that we were ever really promised like massive improvements. But again, at that point, right, it's not like it was just the faceplates that were bad or just the portrait that was bad. You're talking like recalling the whole figure. I think at that point it's too late.
For sure.
So I would perhaps disagree a little bit there.
But then what about Doc Brown? What about Doc Brown? How come we didn't get a new head sculpt with that figure? Like again, same thing. Enough of them sold, so they were like, it's fine.
For which part? So like the glasses go in?
Just the head sculpt was a complete reissue of a head sculpt from the past with, like you said, with the whole still from glasses that don't exist with that particular figure. Like that was a great candidate for another Tony Stark situation, like Marco's saying, where people had it in hand. If they wanted to listen to the community of collectors, we were all like super disappointed with that Doc Brown, and yet they were like,
yeah, I would say with the plutonium case also. I don't know. It's hard to say, Ben. Yeah, I think they're certainly inconsistent on a lot of this, right?
It is very inconsistent.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I feel genuinely like this post is a direct comment on the, not necessarily the monetary feedback or the sales numbers feedback, but from the way that I read it, just from my point of view, very much so a result of a lot of that Facebook criticism. And I know in the past Hot Toys has been, sorry, Mark, just quick. I know in the past Hot Toys has been, I don't know what the word, perhaps sensitive. I don't know if that's the right word, but I know, I'm forgetting the name, but there was a moment, I want to say it was the Iron Man, right, where the sculptor himself was like, I think they either turned off comments or they went private for a bit because the backlash was so negative. But Hot Toys obviously as a company isn't going to do that. And this is a great question here, Mark. I'm going to let you take your point, and then we'll talk about this comment here.
Yeah, so I think overall, so we got to be careful about how we talk about this, number one, because so much of our culture is so negative. With social media, folks have a ability to put their comments out there so quickly without even thinking. And so you just go on to anything, it's either Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and so many of the comments are negative that it just becomes noise. Where like with the Flash film, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of folks that are like losing their mind over the CG, and there are plenty of things to complain about, but because our culture is just so prone to complaining and bitching about everything, I think people get fatigued. But I do want to say, when you talk about either the monetary feedback or the feedback from the community, I think it's both. I think that they use both data points for sure, right? Now, obviously the money speaking is incredibly true. Like that's probably guiding so many of their decisions, but Hot Toys is always listening as well, right? There's other examples where they didn't have to give us updates, that the figures probably would have sold well. We don't have insight, but the Scarlet Witch, they gave us an update. The Doc Ock, they gave us an update. The Batman, right? With the head sculpt and the hair, they gave us an update. So it seems like they have started, taking in the feedback. Now, we don't get wins all of the time, right? And at the end of the day, you're not going to win them all. But I think it is important to have your voice heard. And I do understand those folks that are like, all right, like you just all complain about everything all the time. And again, that's just a byproduct of our culture. But I think if we all become united and we're constructive, like Dean said, you got to be very constructive about the way you give feedback, that you can make a change. Now, at the end of the day, you're not going to make every single change that you want, but I think that these companies are always listening to us. Maybe not NECA, but like these companies, they've got a lot of competition for our dollars. And so at the end of the day, it behooves them to at least show that they're listening some of the time. And they can't give us every single thing that we could ever want, but I think, it's incredibly important to speak up. And I'm proud that they have, a lot of folks like myself, I loved the film, but this product wasn't good enough. I spoke with my wallet. And then when they changed it, I went and secured a pre-order. And so I think that that's, one way to kind of reward all right, you've updated it and now I'm going to go and support this product. We haven't seen enough yet, so it's kind of a scary proposition, but yeah, I think we could definitely be heard.
But I definitely agree with that perspective too. I think one of the reasons that I said I only partially agree with Dean and Zach is the part that I agree with is you should still give feedback. Either way, I think not like just voting with your wallet isn't necessarily the right call. I do think money speaks louder than our comments do. But over time, if we were to just accept everything, then you wouldn't get some of these wins. But I've always felt like collecting in the 6-scale world, especially with regards to Hot Toys, feels a bit like an abusive relationship where they give us a little bit of love and a little attention, and we're like, you love us. And then they slap us around a little bit for a while, and we're like, oh, okay, like maybe not. And then they give us a little something again and bring us right back in. And I feel like this is a bit of an example of that. Because if they were listening to collectors, they would also then, like, where's the apology to the people who wanted the articulated version of this figure, that were excited about that one and did pre-order it? Where's the apology to those people? Like, a lot of us, including myself, feels like this is a win. This went from a figure that I did not want to a figure that I'm absolutely willing to consider. So for me, it was a win. But for folks out there, it was still a bit of an L. So where's we're tough. Listening to you for them? You know what I mean? And I like the romantic idea of us feeling like our opinions matter from the community, but I think again it does get lost because so many people can be so negative so easily, like Marco's saying, that sometimes it can just feel like collective bitching and not necessarily very productive. So those dollars end up writing the ticket.
And I did see a comment saying where someone was celebrating. They're like, "Oh, we got this win. They heard us. We won." And then someone said, "Well, you bitched all this time. Is it still a win if you bitched and then you won?" It's like, yeah, actually, that's the whole point of expressing your opinion constructively. Come on,
that's valid.
It's definitely tough, right? Even in just our small circle, right? Being in charge of things, you often have to make decisions that not everyone is going to like, right? Case in point, just a small example that just happened today. Marco had found out that he has like this wedding event, and we may have to move the date for OxCon. And some of the dates that we're looking at, some local people may not be able to attend, or it's impossible to do something that's going to make everyone happy. And I think as a company, as anyone doing anything, right, there's always going to be a subset of people that are going to be upset one way or another. And I think, Ben, you're absolutely right. There are going to be a number of people that are like, well, no, I don't want this because it is now no longer going to be as posable.
More than I expected, actually. More than I expected from the feedback.
And could it be a vocal minority? Who knows, right? But I think overall, from my perspective, just what I've seen today, I've seen more people in the posts and the comments that I've seen say, "Hey, I will now order this," than people that are like, "Well, now I don't want this." Just in the groups that I'm in.
How do we know it's not going to be more posable, though? I know folks had like concerns about, well, because of the body shape, you can't do a fabric suit. It seems like they found a way. How do you know for sure that it will be less posable? That baffles me.
I think it's probably less posable because of the material, the risk of breaking the material.
It's probably as posable, but I would say long term you have that durability issue.
Miles is pretty damn posable. Anyways.
It's a beauty figure.
Is it long term posable though? Like you could leave it for months, you think? Because with the joints, I mean, you could basically leave it like that for forever.
Yeah, right? I think the Miles suit is like it's like a Mezco figure, honestly.
Okay,
like,
I don't have it in hand, so I'm not being a smartass. I genuinely don't know. But this is a great question here. Why do we give Hot Toys a pass for never engaging with the community? I don't. I think that is the weakest part of them as a company, right? You know, taking feedback directly or sending them a message or letting us know what's going on. I think they've certainly been better since InArt has been in the picture, but I think their history trends to not being particularly engaging. On the other side, I think companies like InArt are perhaps a bit too engaging, and I know Marco says that a lot, right? They came out the gate super engaging, and I think they realized that there's also a negative to being too engaged, right? They had to pull it back a bit. I don't know that either company is really in that Goldilocks zone for just the right amount of engaging. I still think that InArt is perhaps engaging a bit too much, and I think Hot Toys is still just engaging like not enough. And it's tough, right? I think I always say this, but I think Todd McFarlane, I think one of the best companies out there, even though it's not really what we collect generally, but I think the level of communication that Todd has with the toy collector, I think it's fantastic. He does regular lives, keeps us all updated, and I think I just think that to me is the gold standard for companies communicating. I know in the past NECA used to be really good with that. There was I think Randy was the name on Twitter, and I think I think some idiot leaked his like private email or something, and he just got a bunch of shit. So I think they've kind of pulled that back. But I don't personally give them a pass. I don't know if the panel members here, Dean, if you think that we give them a pass. I don't think we do.
No,
I've always said that they can do better.
Yeah, I think we've always been pretty consistent on like they need to do better, because you know, an update 3 months later, like, hey, we changed the head sculpt. While it is a win, it's also like, okay, well, like, what about everything else? But then at the same time, it's like, you know, you don't want to be, again, nitpicky. And it's like, are they going to do every little thing that you suggest? No, probably not. But it'd be nice to have some communication. I think that's where a lot of people really liked InArt at the beginning. But they've also kind of fallen into that same pattern.
That's true, Burtis. Yeah. Ben, what about you? Hot Toys, do we give them a pass on the communication?
I think... I do think we give them a pass to a certain extent, because of the challenges we've seen InArt go through. I agree with you, Dean. At first, people really liked the fact that they were very communicative. And then it was very hard for them to draw a line in the sand and be like, okay, we're not taking any more feedback. Because then when they kind of started to ghost us for a couple months there, it felt like people were like, where the hell is InArt? What happened to all the communication? What happened to the transparency? What happened to the openness? I think that's part of the reason that Hot Toys does not give us that communication. I think that they've just learned from all of the time in the 6-scale world that it is hard for us to draw a line between nitpicking and constructive criticism, because what we feel sometimes is constructive criticism to somebody else may feel like a bit of a nitpick. But when that's your favorite character, like Gandalf with the print on the pants, I would have got that Gandalf and never even known he had print on the pants. But to Zach, that's really important to you. So for you, that could be a deal breaker for that character. For me, that could be like a nitpick, like why would anybody care? So where is that division in the sand, that line to which we can stay on the positive side of communication with these companies? So in a sense, I think we give Hot Toys a pass because they give us so much cool shit over time that, like I said earlier with the abusive relationship, we're like, they don't love us. Oh, they do love us. Oh, they don't love us. Oh, but they do love us all the time. With InArt, they've only had one figure released so far. So if we keep nitpicking them, they're never going to be able to keep to the schedule that they've solicited. So I kind of want them to stop talking and just start making figures.
To be fair, we're nitpicking them because they've came out and said that they're going to be the best this and that.
100%.
So
totally agree.
Want them to live up to that $500. I got 500 greenbacks on this Gandalf right now. I need that shit to be crispy when it comes out.
And I definitely don't give Hot Toys a pass at all, right? Their communication isn't perfect, but this is a very small community. I think if you compare it to, let's say, Jordan's or like video games, even video games have some developer feedback. But this is a pretty small community, and I know that they're listening, maybe not to us all the time, but to the community. I know they've got an ear to the ground. they aren't evolving as quickly as all of us would love, but I've seen enough signs of progress and incorporating things from the community and feedback that it feels like there is a back and forth, even if, like Joker Jay says, we don't have that direct conduit. It does feel like, things are getting incorporated, that our voice is somewhat heard in the community. Now, I think it definitely could get better, but it could be a situation like, I love to use Madden. I used to buy Madden every year. I'm a big franchise person. They had a trending fixed Madden franchise. The developers came out, hey, we're going to do XYZ. We're going to really hear the community feedback. And so they do they do closed betas. They collect all this feedback, and the shit still doesn't change. So it's like you could do all this feedback, all this community interaction, and if you're not improving the product, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Let's I think we touched them all here. Let's move forward here. The 64-bit fix. Grand Theft Auto had an update over the weekend. Continues to fuck me on OxPD. But Marco, tell us about the 16-bit fix.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn over the 64-bit fix to the Tough Nut crew over here, so Ben can tell us about Grand Theft Auto Online, since he and Dean have been getting after it, and hopefully I will join them very soon.
We have been, yeah. So, I wanted to keep it relatively short, but this popped up in my feed the other day that Grand Theft Auto Online GTA 5 has another new downloadable content patch, and it blows me away, guys, because I've been playing this game now since PlayStation 3. I've played it on PS4, now PS5. When I look at my stats, I've put 64 24-hour days into this game. So, like, that's, I think, over 3,000 hours of playtime in the years, over a decade, that I've put into this game.
You could have learned another language in that time.
Definitely. English, I've learned the GTA, probably English. I've learned the GTA language. It blows me away. So one of the reasons I thought it was worthy of recognition was the longevity of this product. They've changed what it means to be an online game, in my opinion. It's gone so far from what it originally was to what it is now, but it's kept itself relevant to the point where people are like, we want GTA 6, but GTA 5 is still producing, so when are we going to get GTA 6? And if so, how long is it going to be until that game is a fully developed game? Because this has been, as I said, I started playing this in 2012. We're halfway through 2023, so that's 11 years that I've been playing this game for with my friends, including now with Dean. So
fantastic.
Yeah, and we were talking about this the other day, because it's like you said, it's like we want GTA 6, but it's like I've spent so much time in GTA 5. Like, what about all my stuff? Mm-hmm. And all this content that we've been getting, and it's definitely not without its faults. With this update, I think they took away like 200 cars on the online store.
Oh wow! Which
is kind of shitty. It's like, why? Like, what's the point of that? And, they abandoned Red Dead Online, which a lot of people are upset about. But, I guess to focus on Grand Theft Auto 5 because it does so well and it continues to do well.
Red Dead, you can only have so fast of a horse, though. Once you get the fastest horse, it's like, okay, or the most precise gun for the 1700s or whatever it's supposed to be. Like, you can only, like, there's a limit at which you can't develop shit anymore for that.
You
game.
Can't
that makes
skydive
sense to me
in Red Dead.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. This game's really fun, and I like playing with Ben. Yeah, I feel like we had a similar
PS5 with Ben, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But.
No.
Yeah, PS5.
Wow, he's playing with Bandita. With Bandita.
Yeah, this is a game, and Zach, you and I said this the other day about we've bought this game so many fucking times, and it's like,
and it's still fucking good. That's the part that pisses me off.
It's crazy.
So, I have put, no lie, between Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PlayStation, probably over 1,000, probably close to 1,500 hours into this game. And I haven't even played online. I just play the story or just driving around and just fucking around doing whatever, or OxPD. I have probably about 500 hours on OxPD. It's so fucking fun. And this game, so after the show, like, we're going to stay on for a few minutes. I want to talk a little bit more about Daft Punk, but this was one of the first gifts that Victoria ever bought me, and I have so much sentimental value for this game. It was, I don't remember what exactly the occasion was. It was either our first year anniversary or like 6 months, something like that. We bought each other like nice gifts for some reason, and she asked what I wanted, and this was what I wanted, right? And I remember playing the game for the first time, and my roommate we're hanging out, my roommate Hunter, and we were just like, holy shit, this game, and it was right when it came, it was like, this game is fucking wild. Like, the graphics, the driving, the police were just like so much better than the last game, and it was such an experience playing this game. And then I remember, on Xbox One when Victoria was pregnant with Vivi, playing this game, late nights. She'd be not feeling well, being in bed, and I would be like, okay, I'm gonna go, play some Grand Theft Auto, because she just kind of wanted to settle and be on her own for a bit, and just playing this for hours and hours and hours, and just beating the story like multiple times. And I remember always wanting to play AUX-PD, or LSPDFR, but I didn't have a PC. And in director's mode, you can play as a cop, but they don't respond to you as a police officer. And I remember getting that gaming PC, and this was the first game that I bought, and learning how to do the LSPDFR mod stuff and setting it up and just having a blast. This is, to me, I would say, there's a lot of really good games that have been made. But this is, to me, up there as one of the most influential games of all time. And the fact that, it's 10 plus years later and they're still making DLC, or update, I don't know what they call these, updates or DLC, whatever, is insane. And it sucks for LSPDFR players, because anytime they do these updates, they have to go back and rebuild LSPDFR. And the common sentiment on those groups is like, we can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6, because then they're going to leave this game alone and we can, mod in peace. Because the Grand Theft Auto 4 community, believe it or not, there's people that still play LSPDFR on that game. It's like a goddamn utopia, because they haven't touched that game in forever, so they can get real deep into some of these mods. But yeah, this is a fun. I do want to play online at some point. I've never done it, but it looks fun.
Do it. It's fun, man. It's a whole new world online. It's fun
for sure.
Is it cross-play, so you can play with all different mods? Oh no, you got to be locked in the same. Damn.
See you later, Moose Stream. Sam Gist. We talked Outlaws last week.
Yeah, you can't even play PS4 to PS5. Me and Ben found out.
I thought Dean had the PS5 version. I had the PS4 version. So I bought the PS5 version, and then as soon as you transition your character from the PS4 to the PS5, you can't go back. And then he loaded up his version, and it turned out he actually had the PS4 version and not the PS5 version. So I then couldn't play with any of my friends, and I was like, well, I bought this game to play with you, so now you have to buy it again so we can play. And then we couldn't even play the same night because he had to re-download it.
I was so pissed.
It was just an epic fail of a game night, but it was what it was. It was a good time, though.
It was only $10. And Marco, we made you buy it, didn't we?
No, I haven't bought it yet, but I will. I will.
Dingoes, dude. I don't think it's on sale anymore. But...
That's an easy one for you to be able to pick up for 20 minutes and play with us, Marco.
I thought that was Marco on the left side of the screen there with his haircut.
Wow. Jesus. That seems racial. I don't.
It kind of looks like him. Look to the side, Marco.
Actually,
hang on. Let me do this real quick. Oh shit! That didn't do what I wanted to do at all.
You got the same little hook nose. Yeah, that is me.
I love it. Probably walks on the tippy toes.
Wow.
Anyways, let's
pay extra for that.
Let's move forward, because we're gonna be here all night. Spaceballs. In a distant galaxy, planet Spaceballs depleted its air supply, leaving its citizens reliant on a product called Perrier. In desperation, Spaceballs leader President Scroob orders the evil Dark Helmet to kidnap Princess Vespa of oxygen-rich Druidia and hold her hostage in exchange for air, but help arrives to the princess in the form of renegade space pilot Lone Star and his half-man, half-dog partner Barf. This movie is fucking awesome. I remember as a kid seeing this movie, half the jokes went right over my head. But man, this movie's fucking incredible. And it's funny because the other day I was in Walgreens and they had cans of air, and I laughed out loud. I thought that was the silliest thing ever. But I don't know what it's for, but you just crack it open and you just breathe air. It's so stupid. It's like $8. It's so expensive too. But whenever I see that, it always reminds me of this film. One of the best films of all time. John Candy, rest in peace. Rick Moranis, incredible. I didn't realize that Lone Star was the president in Independence Day until today. I was watching the film and I was like, man, that guy. What else has he done? And I went through his IMDb. Good stuff.
Awesome, man. Great actor.
No, Martin, it's not compressed air for cleaning. It's for like, I mean, it's really just oxygen, right? I guess it's more pure than the air you breathe, and it has like a little mouth nose thing. I don't know.
Technically, it was also the dad in Casper, Deep Cut.
Oh, dude, that dad's a fucking prick when he throws all those Beetleborgs away. Fuck that guy. Beetleborgs. Anyways, that scene always traumatized me as a kid. Dean, what did you think about this? Or what? I'm sure you've seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, dude. One, growing up loving Star Wars, you kind of like get defensive a little bit. But the absolute love and care, like this is clearly a parody, but like a parody out of love. Like it's so wonderfully done and fun, and nothing is like, doesn't talk down to anybody. It's just so charming. And it's not just a parody of Star Wars, which is very clearly Star Wars, but there's stuff like aliens and, pop culture references. Like the thing with yogurt and the merchandising, with George Lucas merchandising Star Wars, and then the little alien in the diner. Hello, my baby. Hello, my it's just hilarious. And in fact, it's the same actor from Alien, isn't it?
Mm-hmm,
that gets the chest burst.
Yeah. Not again, he says. Not again.
Yeah, not again. Yeah.
Look at this goofy ass shit. $18 for oxygen. Han was
looks like
saying,
Febreze.
Pure oxygen can help keep you awake, though. I don't know. I didn't buy
true.
it.
I mean, they showed it with a football player. Yeah, have you ever come off the sideline, dude?
Well, they do it at the NFL, but
yeah. Exactly.
Do they make it in Magnum?
Oh my god!
Is there a bigger can for Ben?
Oh my god!
Pizza the Hut, amazing.
That grossed me the fuck
and it's
out.
funny, Dean, because
really
in this movie, I want to say there was an informal agreement with Mel Brooks and George Lucas that he could poke fun at this stuff and sort of not be under legal pressure. But the joke was, or the agreement was that they could never make figures from this. So the merchandising stuff is like it's like a bit tongue in cheek about that agreement. So that's why they're able to kind of get so close to the sun there and not get burned. It's because of that agreement.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many quotable moments of this, like the thing where he's like, "You're watching then. When is that? That it's now. Now? No, that was then." Or like they're jamming our signal and like fucking jam runs down the screen. And why didn't anyone tell me my ass was so big? Like this movie is just perfect in every way. I absolutely love it.
That's funny. I'm surrounded by a bunch of assholes, or I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes.
Keep firing. That made me laugh. The scene, like the very beginning of the movie, when you see the ship flying through space, like you normally would with a Star Wars movie, but then it just like it keeps going and keeps going and going and going, and after about 40 seconds of the ship moving, I started to laugh because I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm like, what is happening right now? On the other hand, I have not seen this movie in probably easily 20 years. And it does not hold up for me the same way it does for you guys. I can see it if it was a movie that you've loved for your whole life. I can see the love behind it. I can see where the quotes are funny. There was a lot of like parts of the film where like obviously it's a parody, right? But like the actors are like so like what do you say, Marco, tongue in cheek, that it's kind of like they're like cheekily like saying lines, but like it to me they didn't land as well as I think they were intended to. I felt like I couldn't I wanted to still like take the movie seriously up to a certain extent, and I just couldn't like get into it after a certain while. And honestly, I started to get a little bored during parts. I love John Candy. I hate the name Barf as a character, but again, that goes back to the beginning of the show. So I was like, oh, yeah, it just grosses me out. But then the Pizza Man, whatever his name was, Pizza the Hut, Jabba the Pizza Hut, I was like, that grossed me out too. So ultimately, it made me laugh a couple times. It didn't make me belly laugh by any stretch. It was $9 that I spent to watch this movie because I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. And I don't think I'd watch it again, to be honest. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. It didn't hold up for me.
So this brand of humor, we obviously all grew up on, right? Like just like playing to the lowest common denominator, right? Just like the dumbest possible jokes, but they are funny to us, right? Because there's so many films that we love, like Spaceballs, Naked Gun, Airplane, even like more modern, like Scary Movie, right? Like they're just so silly that it's just, you can't help but like chuckle. So I don't know, like I struggle with that type of humor though, because you're right, it is timeless in that like they still continue to make stuff like that, but if you don't have that nostalgia for the property, then trying to rewatch it is just kind of like, okay, this is kind of a slog because it's more cheeky and less like laugh out loud funny. But this is an all-time classic. So I never have any issues with watching it, but just the comedy is just so dumb. It's just so dumb. Sometimes it makes your head hurt, but it is just, again, a classic. So what are you going to say, Dean?
Sam Gus made me laugh my ass off. Says, Ben, are you sure you're not watching Spider-Man?
Okay, so let's be honest though. I did also watch it by myself, and there are some movies, even like Napoleon Dynamite. The first time I watched Napoleon Dynamite, I was by myself, didn't laugh.
Oh, God.
The second time I watched it with buddies, and I watched it with a guy like Dean, who when they get laughing, you cannot help but laugh your ass off. And I honestly think that this is the type of film that is, if we'd been able to watch as a group of boys or a group of people, I think I would have had a lot more fun with it. If I'd been hearing Dean laugh in the background at these, I would have enjoyed it more, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's fair.
So
yes, I did Badfish.
We have God, I'm trying to find this poster. My Facebook is going wild.
My cousin really liked it though, just so you know, Dean, just in case.
Let's see here. So we have the listener movie every cycle. So some of the films that we were suggested, I'm gonna pick 4. So let's see. Let me go to YouTube and make a poll real quick so we can let the Patreon, or I guess the chat vote rather. So the movies I'm gonna go with are, let's see, movie of the week poll. I'm gonna go with Osmosis Jones, The Sandlot.
Let's go Sandlot. Come on.
Let's see here. Pineapple Express and 40-Year-Old Virgin. How's that sound?
Some bangers on that list.
And this will be the listener's choice. So let's put up the poll here. And at the end of the show, we'll check back in and see which has won that result there. So let's, Dean, let's say thank you to the Patreonies for keeping this going.
The Patreonies. Yeah, give a quick shout out to Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Fallon, Serena, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns, Figs, Billy Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Old Fern, Caesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Ezecina, The Illustrious Rainer, Alan Morgan, Tukothri Wa, Derek B, Arias Portillo, Mark Randolph, Alvin J, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CSC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Don, Jimmy James, Stephen Pritchett, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, and Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Paul Bummer. Sorry,
Wow.
Kevin was.
I thought that was your stomach growling. Like
No, it was Kevin.
Wow.
The second he starts hearing me read the feed, he knows I'm about to get up, and he gets all excited.
He's gonna
What a
get
smart
fed.
guy. What a smart boy.
The May June Patreon benefits going out this week. Next week we have the Question of the Week sticker and the Spooderverse sticker. Next cycle we're going to be doing the brand new Small Talk logo. We're not ready to announce that just yet, and we're going to try to work on a CW3000 sticker. So stay tuned for that. It may be a little bit different than the 1 and 2000 stickers that we did. Patreon starts at $5 a month for the hot seat, $7.50 for the Sweet Angel sticker sent straight to your door, and access to Ox After Dark replay. $15 for the certified crispy tier with figure fix assistance and the certificate. $25 for the What a Guy tier. You get the Pog Deluxe set and doubles all the stickers that we send. Taking a look at our YouTube channel members, we have Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andre, Andres IB, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hansen, Big Ol' Fern, Blurred Dad Life, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, Cram, CT603, DJ, Daminator, Dante's Boneyard, Eclectic Collector, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Gotham Cenobites, Jake, Just Another Friday Night, Justin Sports Card, KJ Smith, LV Vendor 702, Mark Pearson, Eddie Money Mendez, Mr. Mom's Collectibles, Knight, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 1-6 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S Beam, Sam Gist, Slifer, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Sunnyvale, Russ, The Ben Thomas Show, Toy Cartel, and Zeke. So thank you guys for supporting us through the YouTube channel membership. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, you can do so. Patreon tier is 99 cents and Peanut Gallery is $2.99. Here's a look at our TeePublic. If you want to support us there, I recommend waiting for a deal, but your money is your money. And here's a look at the network. We have Collecting Weekly Live Unboxing every Monday, Question of the Week on Sundays, reissue, figure something out in June. OFAC podcast is next week. Small Talk is Thursdays. After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. Live and Let Dice. I just found out today that's apparently not happening this Saturday, so that's kind of lame, but figure that out. Maybe we'll do some Ox PD this weekend. So, yeah, let's see here. Just want to plug the gun channel just for a bit. There's a video going live tomorrow on the channel. Had a free range day at a gun range here in Comfort, Texas, just a little bit northwest of San Antonio. And then this is actually what Marco helped me buy for my birthday. It's a optic for a pistol, so we'll be doing an unboxing of that on Sunday.
And like a cute
yeah,
old tube TV.
it is.
Yeah.
Actually, it kind of does. I can't unsee that. My, just as a fair warning, I was really working on my grip, and it was a different grip than I was used to, and it was awful on video.
You're using your left hand?
No, on the firearm.
But on the firearm, we got again
the good old stranger. So don't roast me too hard on the grip. I'm trying to get better, but I want to go to shoot with Dean and get it on video. I did have just a little bit more I wanted to talk about, if you guys are willing to stay for a few more minutes. But I got a message from a longtime listener of the show, Don John, and I hope he doesn't mind, but I'm going to read some of it. He said he's been listening since 2020, was a listener of 60 Scavengers, but needed another figure news fix, especially during COVID. He says, I work in healthcare and we didn't stop, so most people work from home. We were still going to work at the hospital. And since I drive to work, Collecting Weekly really made that drive better and took me out of that insane time. To this day, I still listen to CW and enjoy OFAC driving to and from work. Thank you to Dean, John back then, and now Ben and Marco for spending the time to deliver us amazing content each week. So, Don, thank you so much, buddy. That is, it's messages like that that really keep us going and keep us wanting to continue doing this kind of stuff. So, we appreciate those kind words. Sam is saying, my son and I went to a gun show, entered a raffle, and won a Ruger LC9. That's fantastic. But yeah, just going back on Daft Punk for a bit. It's funny. So I used to live in San Marcos, which is about 50 minutes from here. And I remember Random Access Memories when it first came out. We bought it like the first day. And that album was like really all that we listened to for like a few years. And anytime we would drive, the distance from where I lived to Victoria's parents' house and then to my house was almost exactly the album runtime. And yeah, I've just been a huge fan of Daft Punk ever since. Some of my fondest memories are with that album. So, Thomas, thank you so much. What is Ben giggling about? I was just like laughing to himself while we were telling the story. He can't wipe that damn smile off his face.
Sorry,
what are you laughing at?
So my friend Hannah just messaged me to say,
like,
dang,
this guy sucks, bro. This story sucks.
She's responding to Sam Gist's comment where it says, my son and I went to a gun show, entered a raffle, won ticket, and won a Ruger LC9 free gun. She said, dang, in America, you can win a child a gun.
Goddamn right.
And like Canada, that just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Wow! How dare you?
That made me laugh.
No registration needed, too. You just roll it on out there. You're good to go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Zach, I had a buddy who worked at CD Exchange at the time.
Hey, that's right by my gym.
And he knew how much I loved Daft Punk, and so he got me Random Access Memories like 2 days early. It's fucking amazing. He was like, oh, I probably actually shouldn't have said that. He's like, don't tell anybody.
What was his name? Just kidding.
And I remember, because Daft Punk, you know, every album is kind of different than the last, but they're electronic dance music. And so, and especially after Human After All, which is their third studio album, I was expecting something a little more, you know, Robotronic. So the first song starts up and it's incredible, right? Dun 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 dun. And it's like, holy shit. And then it drops into this really funky 70s groove. And the album, for the most part, really follows that.
It's like a lot of vocals and a lot of
funky
like
70s groove. And I remember the first time I listened to it, and it's very enjoyable. I didn't dislike it. But I was like, well, that's not what I was expecting and not really what I wanted. And so I listened to it again and again and again and again. And I was just like, this is not what I wanted, but this is what I fucking needed. This is absolutely brilliant. Random Access Memories is such an incredible fucking album.
Dude, every
Arguably
song on that album is a fucking banger, bro.
I mean, Discovery is really hard to beat. That's one of the best albums ever made in the history of the world. So that's hard to beat. But
around the world, in fact.
Random Access Memories is pretty close.
That was good.
Around the World was on Homework.
Dude, there's so many good. I think Contact is probably my favorite song. When I have anxiety, I put Contact on. It just goes right away. But then there's like the Giorgio Moroder song is fucking incredible. Dude. Even that new song, Infinity Repeating, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking bust.
Yeah, I mean, you could pick any fucking song on that.
Every single song on that album is incredible. Toy Cartel says, I got to see the Robots live once at the LA Sports Arena. That's
you lucky bastard.
Jealous.
That was like one of my life goals was to see Daft Punk live because they've only come to the United States, I think, like 5 times.
Coachella.
Yeah, they did Coachella twice. They did EDC a couple times, New York, Vegas.
The Grammys a few times.
The Grammys, LA. And that was one of my life goals, and now it seems like it won't ever happen again. So,
what did you think of the Tron Legacy soundtrack? Oh my bad.
Oh, incredible, dude! When that movie was coming out, I bought. It was me and my girlfriend.
Make that your profile picture, Ben.
Tron IMAX 4D.
Oh shit!
With the seats that move and shit.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I probably would have seen that movie anyway, but the fact that Daft Punk did the score and they were in the movie, I was like, we're going all out. Like, I adore Daft Punk, so.
Yeah. Well, anyone else, y'all want to plug anything? Shout outs, anything? Anyone? Anybody? Sub to my gun channel, though, please. I need to get subs bad.
Quick shout out for the Let's Get Nuts crew on Sunday this past week on the Ben Thomas Show. We had 6 panelists there. It was awesome time. In fact, we had so many people we actually had to kick one out. So thank you again to Chris for excusing himself so we could allow, I think it was Lane Kramer and Classy Thomas in, which was awesome. But if you guys missed the Sunday live show on the Ben Thomas Show, go check it out. It was a really, really fun one of Let's Get Nuts.
Someone throw some super chats at Ben so we can get that 1080. That 10 guest StreamYard. There's a lot of nuts going on there. Jesus. He needs a little bit more. Sam Giss says we should digitally enhance every show with that pick over his face. Wow. Marco, do you have
probably
any
get a better audience, let's be honest.
How dare you?
I could only get so erect.
Oh my god.
No plugs for me this week. No, fun. Another fun show. We went off the rails and I loved it. Loved every second of it.
So we do, baby. There's none of that. None of that.
Never know what to expect here.
Boringness here, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think we're good here. I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.